Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy.
Where the hell are you, Die? Stop hiding, Mr. Final Emperor!
So our story continues with Vegito continuing to blast through the seemingly never-ending hallway of Sector 1. His frustration clear as his teeth would grit, and all around him, more and more destruction would be left in his dust. And as his screams would get louder and louder, his body would simply just turn into a mass of light, opting to go faster and faster, hoping it would finally get him to his old villainous rival.
This is pointless!
But when we would peer in closer, this annoyance would lead Vegito to grunt out,
Enough of this! Enough of these games! If you're not going to show yourself, Die, then I'll just have to force your hand!
As suddenly stopping his sprint forward, the God Killer would finally come to an abrupt stop.
This should be fun!
As now with a big grin, a sadistic one at that, Vegito would immediately pull his palms to a certain familiar fashion, letting out,
I don't care how big this place is or isn't. If you can't find your way to me, then I'll just blow this place to the next dimension. Your choice, Die!
As just like that, backing up his words, the God Killer would then begin to generate within his hands one of his typically powerful balls of pure energy. As spurts of thunder would recoil off of it, the larger it would get.
Okay, I don't see anything yet, Die!
As almost seeming like he would be bluffing for a reaction, Vegito would begin looking around out the corner of his eyes for some kind of response to his threats, before ultimately beginning a countdown, yelling,
3, 2, 1, here I go!
As suddenly, just before he would fire anything, Vegito would find his entire surroundings removed, like a change of frame, now surrounded by complete darkness.
What just happened?
As with a stunned look, even the God Killer would be completely perplexed, as not in one single sector before had anything similar happened.
What the? Where the hell am I now?
As out of nowhere, all of the God Killer's wishes would come to fulfillment, as he would now mysteriously find himself in a black desert with an orange sky, a wasteland that had seen countless battles, as strewn across would be hundreds of ownerless, used swords.
Maybe you did hear me after all, Die.
as now looking around observing, Vegito would be on the lookout solely for the former Grand Priest, as he would continue,
Well, come on out then! Making me wait here isn't any better. I'll blow this place up too, you know.
But just as Vegito would say this, in the distance, 5 clinks would ring through the air, as the handles of 5 swords would be grabbed by a mystery group.
Looks like someone's come at least. Maybe I was wrong about Dai being here.
As Vegito, immediately noticing he was outnumbered, would begin reacting cautiously, with a small sweat drip coming down his face as he would prepare himself for what will undoubtedly be yet another tremendous battle. As now standing emerging, 5 never-before-seen warriors would stand, each wielding a unique blade, standing with an unmatched aura and clothed in what would only be described as a maroon holy armor set, unlike any seen before in the demon realm. And as the screen would pan over each of their different faces, the only similarity would be their white hair and pale blue eyes. The kind of eyes already seen before from a certain divine species within the Dragon Ball universe.
Oh, wait a minute. Now this is interesting.
But as Vegito would watch on, calmly with his fists on his hips, he would notice exactly what we had just mentioned as he would let out, I've never seen you guys before, but your energy feels mighty familiar. I've felt its kind before, but definitely not down here. Tell me, are you angels? As suddenly transitioning his face down to a devilish smirk with his demonic red seraphim automatically activated, Vegito would realize just who he was now facing. Good eye, Sector 2 Emperor. The legends of your battle intelligence seem to be true. As the first of the now confirmed angelic warriors, wearing a ninja-like mask, would begin replying. But leading on, another with a mysterious diamond tattoo under his left eye would add, we are indeed angels, not like the ones you have seen, however. Not like little Whis, if that's what you had in mind. We are angels of the highest grade, made personally by the creator of all angels. But hearing this, Vegito would just immediately laugh, seemingly having had all of his suspicions proven, as he would reply grinning, the creator of all angels, huh? Well, I know exactly who that is. Good to see he had some more kids in him. That old dog. So only after you will I get to see that. Enough talking! Brothers, we did not come here to let this heathen pollute our air. We have come to kill him. As immediately interrupting, a third member of the group, scraping loudly his sword across the ground, would begin walking forward.
we bring his head and nothing less. Got it, my brothers?
Before finally standing in front of the others, his sword rested on his back in battle stance. The angel would be ready to take on Ultra Vegito.
We've got a live one here. Whatever you are, you guys seem a lot more manly than the angels I knew. Not a hint of lipstick on you. I like it.
But Vegito, in response, of course eager to fight, as his natural Saiyan instinct would dictate, would raise his fist to get into battle stance.
Now tell me if you like this.
As suddenly now showing his natural devil instinct, emerging from his forehead, Ultra Vegito would stand and showcase his newly acquired third eye, vastly improving his sight, reaction speed, along with several other demonic abilities.
Silence!
But with the pure speed expected of a master of natural Ultra Instinct, the angelic warrior would already be up in the air with his sword drawn, ready to swipe down. But just as he would, without even a sound still from Vegito, Vegito would instantly raise his weaker left arm and stop the attack on the spot, and seemingly with an energy barrier in between his palm and the blade, so he would suffer no damage at all.
What? Why does he look so unfazed?
Leaving the armored angel in a state of surprise, as clearly he had completely underestimated the God Killer.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen those angel eyes burst open with fear. This brings back memories, you know.
As Vegito, enjoying every moment of this, would just grin, looking up at him.
My turn!
Swiftly in a flash, raising his leg to touch the angel's chest with what just looks like the tip of his toes. For a moment, the armored foe would remain frozen until... in almost a delayed effect, moments later, the angel would be flung back at rapid speeds.
Been a while since I tried that one. You five will be fine practice for a couple of old techniques of mine.
As landing perfectly with a confident smile, Vegito would be completely in his element, it would seem. But regardless, not finished yet, Vegito would then jump forward fairly uncharismatically. But with speed and explosive power, emulating exactly what the angel did before him. In a flash, he would have his fist buried deep within the armored foe's gut, leading the angel to let out a completely bemused groan. And as the angel would let go of his weapon and slowly fall to the ground, Vegito would continue moving past, eventually landing simultaneously as the angel's body would hit the floor by his hand and knee.
I guess you guys are a little stronger than normal angels, but with how far my power level has come, it really is hard to tell the difference. Why waste my time? Just send out this damn final emperor. I haven't seen him in a long time.
But in the distance, the angel's brothers would be watching on unimpressed. As breaking the silence, one of them would then order, "Brother Mock as usual,
is out of his depth. Us three will step in. We've suffered enough embarrassment. And just like that, on his order, him and his two other angels would vanish from the spot. Demonic creature. He's just like that petulant Kazuya! 3 eyes and all. But meanwhile, back with Mok, the newly named angel, he would just about be getting up, using his sword for stability. But unlucky for him, before he could plan out any kind of next move, already behind him would be the God Killer, and with an electrified energy attack already in hand. Black Thunder! However, just in the nick of time, just before Vegito would make contact with his devastating attack from the past, 2 more angels would appear, swords drawn to block the God Killer's attack perfectly, displacing the black lightning and electricity to splatter everywhere else on the battlefield other than their brother Mok, leaving even him stunned by their interference. But things would not end there. To the keen eye, it was only 2 angels that appeared to protect Mok, leaving one unaccounted for. And unfortunately for Vegito, his near senseless divine energy, the angel sword would slash from behind right through the God Killer, leaving Vegito to split in half, Mecha Freezer style, as his blood and guts would splatter and separate in slow motion. Foolish demon. As skidding across in front of Vegito far into the distance, like a samurai, his katana-like blade still leaving behind a trail of blood, the 3rd angel would come to a stop. Mok, you need to work on your swordsmanship. This creature was softer than butter to cut down. How could you even struggle at all? And as this all-new angel would confidently berate his brothers, the 3 left behind would just stand around the now separated body of Vegito, sinking in a pool of his own blood, as one would casually comment, "So, who's cleaning this up then?" But just as they would discuss, Vegito's body would instantly turn from bloodied flesh to bubbling pink goo. What? Stunning all 4 of the angels, wondering what would even be going on. But little would one know, at his feet, having dripped off his very katana, a piece of pink goo would begin to move. As suddenly expanding and jumping, just the demonic head of the God Killer would appear, mouth wide open and with a ball of pure black energy already formed, right in front of the stunned angel until... No! Ultimately resulting in a gigantic explosion that completely drowns out his screams, being trapped in what looks like a demonic sphere of dark, thunderous energy, completely at odds to the divine nature of the angel. And eventually, as the light show would subside, dark smoke left behind would begin to part, and the still standing figure of body parts would then begin to show. First a hand, and then an eye, which mysteriously would look down in fear. You have ruined me!
as in a shock sight for the first time in a long while, the once blemishless look of a divine angel would be seen completely dismembered, as purple blood would begin leaking profusely from what looks like a chunk of meat bitten straight out of his right side, leaving Vegito to just casually land, now completely reformed and...
That was a good surprise attack, but unfortunately, mine was better. A pity for you. You can't regenerate though.
Slamming his fist into his palm, as with a cocky smirk, he would call out,
Now, who's next?
"What did you do to Pain?
You pay!
But not allowing his fallen brother's losses to be in vain, from behind, the diamond-tattered angel would make his move. Heading first straight at Vegito from behind. But just as his blade would get close, nanoseconds away from slicing the God Killer in half again, curiously, Vegito, despite calling out for him, would just remain stood still with his back turned, as if unaware, his head only slightly tilted, leaving us to assume he was at least seeing the angel from the corner of his eye.
Get real, punk! What?
As unbelievably in the most shocking reply as expected of the God Killer, Vegito would instantly turn and use his teeth to bite straight onto the sword, with a grip unlike any other, stunning the angel.
What?
But the shocks just wouldn't end there, as with the sheer beastly strength of Vegito biting down hard and pulling his head away, the God Killer would snap the angelic blade in half, even shattering it to pieces, leaving the wide-eyed angel to only mutter, "A divine blade, broken by teeth!"
Tasty.
And as the pieces of the blade would fall out of his devilish mouth like crumbs, the smirking Vegito, with all three eyes pinpointed at his foe, would just let out,
Seems none of you are any different than the last one. All absolute weakling scum. How about we save time, and I just take you all on at once?
Before in a sudden move, Vegito would leave the rest of the fighters down on the field as he would rise into the air. Flying higher and higher, only giggling looking down as he would do so, eventually reaching an apex high in the sky above everyone, where he would then declare,
It's time you lot put those toothpicks away and witnessed a real blade. Get ready, brothers. Something bad is about to happen.
as with 4 of the 5 brothers just staring up at Vegito cautiously, unwilling to make a move until they knew what they were up against. There would be a silence until...
Say hello to my little friend. I call this your end.
As finally bringing out his Godslayer blade, Vegito would indeed not have been lying about what he was saying earlier,
a real blade would now be out, and it would be one with dozens of angels' lives already slain under its name. All of you die here! And just like that, in an instant, Vegito would fly down with rage, as if he was still back in Season 1. His hatred for the gods and angels as strong as ever, as he aims to continue his kill streak. Brace yourself, brothers! As ultimately all four of the angels, sensing and seeing Vegito's insane power, would know what would be coming next. But just before their untimely demise, the rise of two demonic brothers would instead be returned to, as Virgil, holding onto his brother Dante, would emerge from the explosion of hellfire that erupted after Goku's last attack. And soon enough, Dante, who was not exactly down for the count, would then detach himself from his brother, able to levitate on his own. But Virgil, looking down on his younger brother, would then comment, "Dante, what is the meaning of this? Do you truly struggle against these mortals? How has your armor cracked like this?" To which Dante, almost embarrassed with himself, would just respond, "Don't look at me like that. These are Lord Lucif's former hosts. They even seem to still harbor some of his glorious energy, but not enough. I was at 50%, almost about to step up to 70 before I was hit. We both know I alone could wipe them out at 100. And with that said, the two brothers would then casually land on the ground before the three god killers, with Virgil laughing in agreement. That is true. No! Just when I was about to finish him, another had to turn up. Damn it! But Goku, still in his red seraphim form, would be thoroughly unimpressed, frustrated that he couldn't get the revenge he desired for Goten's death. But with tensions looming, Trunks would step forward and let out, "Well, I couldn't do anything to stop you from fighting before, but I'm afraid, Goku, I will have to now. Hope you understand." To which Goku, looking back with a smirk, would respond coolly, "It's fine. I wouldn't be able to handle more than one anyway. This whole time, I've been releasing every one of my clones across the multiverse, just so I could keep up with him. And my full power now, I can take Dante, and that's about it. Vegeta, you better release your clones too." Already 5 steps ahead of you, clown. As stepping forward as well, finally, Vegeta with a confident smirk, joining the other two god killers, would add, "I released them the second I learned who these guys were. We won't be saving any more universes now. We did what we could, and we did enough. Now, it's showtime. You three,
but Virgil, having just entered the battlefield, would be new to the introductions, as he would address the three and say, Son Goku and Prince Vegeta. An honor to finally meet the God Killers after hearing so much from our dear Lord. I see from my brother's damage, at the very least, you match up to your supposed strength. But you there, who is that third warrior standing as your equal? Instantly evoking Trunks to activate his red seraphim in alignment with Goku, as he would respond, Who I am doesn't matter, but what I am going to do to you will. But as far as these two God Killers next to me, you should really know. I want to! As suddenly proving his worth, Trunks would erupt into a power-up of his own. The first he had shown so far, instantly turning his hair spiked like a Super Saiyan. But most shockingly, as his own power would rip apart his shirt, underneath would be revealed the same crimson triangle that had appeared on Goku. And of course, being noticed immediately by the Saiyan, Goku would comment with a smile saying, So you had that in you this whole time too? Go figure. Guess I couldn't expect any less from you, Trunks. But staring forward at the two royal guards stoically, Trunks would only have to say in reply, Well, yeah, Goku. There's still a lot about me you don't know, or about what I can do. Remember, I'm not the same future Trunks you met before, and nor am I one half of Vegito like you and Father are. In my timeline, I am Vegito. As suddenly powering up energy within his right arm, Trunks would tense his muscles before... In a flash, God-Killer Trunks would blast out dual energy beams, headed straight for Dante and Virgil. But Virgil with ease would just seemingly strike the beam into the air, foreseeing it immediately and reacting. But Dante, on the other hand, would no longer be seen. Only the streak of the beam which was aimed at him until... Damn you! As it would seem the younger brother would be shooting off backwards, blocking Trunks' beam, as it would forcibly force him backwards. Looks like I found my target. Sorry, Goku! As without warning, Trunks would fly forward, interestingly, in chase of Dante, as flying past Virgil with speed. Notably, the older brother would do nothing, allowing him to do so. Hey! Trunks, that's my kill! But not reacting well, Goku would immediately yell, allowing Trunks to help, but not to step in on his revenge. To that end, mindlessly blasting forward, Goku would do the same thing as Trunks, shooting right past Virgil, who does absolutely nothing. Leaving Vegeta now alone on his own, standing before the older and potentially stronger of the two demonic royal guards.
Thanks, clowns! My own son abandoning me! That's just great!
and the irony and danger of the situation would not be lost on Vegeta at all. As almost blue in the face, he would begin sweating. But regardless, Virgil, maintaining his composure, with his arms folded, would question, "What's wrong, Prince Vegeta? Feeling left out? Seems the other two have unlocked a power you do not have. Yet, they have enough faith in you to leave you alone with me. It's interesting, because Lord Lucif also has the same faith in you. He says in the great battle with Dai, you accessed his powers even better than Vegito. Tell me, when will you show me this?" I don't give a damn what Lucif thinks. Those days are behind me. Let those other two clowns be puppets to your demonic energy. But for me, all I need now is my Saiyan pride and the power of my people. Just as my father once told me. Saiyan pride. What a pitiful concept. Of course your father would come up with such a weak ideal. Here, let's ask him now if he still thinks your Saiyan pride is all you will need against me. As suddenly lifting up his arm into the air, a black portal would begin to open within the sky above Vegeta. Until eventually, the portal would reach full size in the air, big enough to let more than one person through, all while Vegeta would just stare silently to see what Virgil was even planning. But soon enough, with a smirk on his skeletal-like face, Virgil would announce, here he is! All hail the king! What? As now beginning to peek through the portal would be the Saiyan booted foot of a figure, coming down slowly until, with a big thud, it would abruptly fall to the ground on its back, motionless, soundless, and lifeless. Father! As unfortunately, finally, now Vegeta would find out in the most tragic of ways, his father, King Vegeta, was dead. Laying on the ground now, a corpse with a broken neck and his eyes fully dilated. Memories of his timeline's death to Frieza would come rushing through the prince. No! You did this? When? Leaving a stunned portrait on Vegeta's face as he can hardly even process what he would be seeing. Does it even matter when? Probably when you were out frolicking with those other two. What matters is, you weren't there to protect him. As randomly, Virgil would then click his fingers and... in a brutal and violent display, King Vegeta's body, as if having explosive planted within him, would instantly explode into a splash of blood and guts. You... Covering Vegeta completely in his own father's blood and body parts, disgracing his body forever. His eyes now unable to close, as what looks like a tear would begin to fall.
I hear you two didn't get much time to reunite. You should be happy. I believe this is the closest you could possibly be. Right, Prince Vegeta? But when we would look back at Vegeta now, his head would be bowed, and his arms drooped, almost overcome with emotion to the point of being in a defeated state. Or at least, it would seem that way until... Father! Vegeta! Until suddenly, stopping immediately on the spot, both Trunks and Goku would come to a halt, looking back as they sense the unimaginable now behind them.
Right. You're going right to hell.
As in a shock return, the true Demon Saiyan would return to the battlefield, levels above Goku and even Trunks, now accessing not only a black and red demonic seraphim, but the same third eye as Vegito. The Dark Prince had returned, but just how will this battle go from here? But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Vegeta in the comments down below and let me know what happens now that the Dark Prince has finally been unleashed. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.